Hello, film lovers. Bernard Boo here from way2indie.com. I'm joined right now by another writer at way2indie.com, CJ Prince. Say hi, CJ.
Hello.
And, we were just chatting the other day while we were preparing for our first episode of the Way2Indie cast, which you can find now on the site, way2indie.com, and on iTunes. You should totally check that out. But beforehand, or maybe it was after the recording, CJ, we were talking about Criterion movies and how much we love them, and we thought, hey, Criterion just announced their November releases today. Why don't we chat about it here on Google Hangouts, because it's the easiest thing in the world, Google Hangouts. You can just record ourselves chatting about bullshit, I guess. But seriously, we love Criterion. Me and CJ are big geeks about this stuff, and we love movies here way too many. So we're just going to talk about the new releases coming up. Some of the Criterion releases we've picked up personally recently, and just kind of shoot the shit about this stuff, because these are the best movies in the world. Why not talk about them? We're going to call this, for now, Criterion Club, right, CJ? Yeah. Criterion Club.
Exactly. It's as I said, it's a lonely 2-member club, but it is a club nonetheless.
Lonely 2-member club, but we're gonna have a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys can become members too, and subscribe to Way2Indie on YouTube and everything, and follow us, and maybe join in on the chat in the comments below, or on Twitter at Way2Indie, and on Facebook. But now that we've got all that taken care of, we're just going to jump in here into the first edition of Criterion Club. This is the most casually put together piece we've ever done on Way2Indie, probably. I literally just asked CJ about it hours ago. I don't even know if hours is correct. It might have been an hour and a half ago. But let's start by looking at the new releases that Criterion just announced for November coming up. You want to run through them, CJ?
Yeah, so I believe it's five releases, obviously more than 5 films, but so the first one we got is Monty Hellman's 2 westerns, The Shooting and Ride in the Whirlwind, and then Frank Capra's A Happened One Night, Michelangelo Antonioni's L'Avventura, a box set of Les Blanc films. I think there are about 14 films in there, and finally the one I think everyone's been clamoring for and begging Criterion to release for years, Sidney Pollack's Tootsie.
Yeah, this is a pretty good announcement, a group of titles, right? Aren't you excited for these?
It's pretty diverse. I think that you have, Tootsie's obviously the very mainstream appealing one, and same with It Happened One Night, that is the classic. Then you got L'Avventura for the art house, and Monty Hellman and Les Blanc kind of fit the more obscure, very art housey bills.
Yeah,
so I think
it's a good variety. L'Avventura is going to appease pretty much everybody, because you can't really say no to that film. It's just incredible. One of my favorites of all time. I think it's on a lot of other people's lists as well. And then Les Blanc, he's kind of like a local hero here in San Francisco, where I'm coming to you from. Les Blanc, I think my fondest memory of Les Blanc films is this movie, Werner Herzog Eats His Shoe, which is a short documentary chronicling how Werner Herzog made a bet with Errol Morris over whether Errol Morris would complete Gates of Heaven or not. So he didn't think he would. So when Errol Morris did complete Gates of Heaven, Werner Herzog was forced to eat his shoe, and he actually did it, I believe, here in Berkeley, in the Bay Area. So it's just a short film chronicling this really odd bet between these art house documentarians. It's really pretty hilarious. So I'm excited for that. And gosh, following up Two Lane Blacktop, we've got more Monty Hellman. That's exciting too.
Yeah, Criterion's they're a big champion of Monty Hellman. I've only seen one film of his, and it's actually, usually everyone's seen Two Lane Blacktop, but I saw Road to Nowhere, which came out a couple years ago. It was like his return to filmmaking, and I don't know, I mean, that's a really interesting movie. I'll leave it at that. I mean, it has also, I'll say the digital cinematography on it, because he shot it with a DSLR camera, is really, really cool. But I have to watch the westerns, obviously, and I gotta watch Two Lane Blacktop.
Yeah, me too. These are actually, we were talking before we started recording that these are a few blind spots for us. with Capra's It Happened One Night being an embarrassing one for me. I don't, I don't know about you. And
at least you've seen Capra films.
Yeah, I've seen.
I shouldn't even admit that.
But it's we're young guys. We got plenty of time. And the Criterion Collection, of course, helps us out with these blind spots. Tootsie I saw when I was a kid, or when I was younger, maybe a teenager. So I can't really say too much about it. I fear that I would be insensitive or just kind of ignorant in my opinions about that film. But I remember mildly enjoying it. And then that's it, right? Just the Hellman stuff and those 5.
Yeah, and then I actually saw L'Avventura for the first time this year. I went to a 35mm screening of it. They had the restored
I'm so
print.
jealous.
Yeah, but I have a very love-hate relationship with Antonioni, and I really did not like L'Avventura, which I know. I saw your body language just shift.
This is a club divided almost immediately. A club divided. Two parties here.
I'm more of a. I think I like L'Eclisse more than that might be.
Yeah, L'Eclisse is amazing.
Yeah, that or Blow Up is one of probably my favorites. But yeah, no, he's just a tough filmmaker. But I really have a huge admiration for what he does.
Yeah, you're right. He is a tough filmmaker. So challenging, and I think, of course, L'Avventura famously challenging for leaving the mystery at the core of its story kind of open-ended. And kind of on the periphery throughout the film, which I think is so brave and so cutting edge even for by modern standards. It's great. I really love it. But,
so I remember there's stories that when the movie premiered at Cannes, I think it was Cannes or Venice actually, but when it first premiered, there were people in the screening and they were yelling "cut" because the scenes kept going on for so long, and they were so annoyed that they just kept screaming "cut! The scene doesn't need to go on this long."
Oh gosh!
Just so funny. And now it's a whole other ball game.
Have you seen another Criterion darling? Have you ever seen any Eric Rohmer?
Which one?
Eric Rohmer.
I haven't seen any Rohmer films.
Oh my gosh! Watch a Rohmer film. I think Tarantino said about Eric Rohmer that watch one Rohmer film, and if you don't like it, don't watch anymore. So yeah. he's kind of like, his films all take place at these kind of resorty, beautiful vistas, these French locales, and people on the beach sipping wine, having picnics, talking about little girls talking about boys they crushed on the summer before and stuff like this. And it's all really banal and really boring by a lot of people's standards. I find him a fascinating filmmaker, but I wonder how audiences react to his films because they're so uneventful, by design, that I imagine he would get similar responses.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any. I mean, I obviously know about him, and I actually have. I think you mean Pauline at the Beach, which is sitting somewhere for me to watch in a massive pile. But he from what I heard, he sounds very one track. I always get reminded of Hong Sang-soo. I don't know why. I think because they both sound like they're directors who do very leisurely, similarly structured and paced films. But I can't really say anything. Yeah.
It's all really kind of breezy, but I really like that stuff. But anyways, moving on. Let's take a look at what's coming up this coming month in September from the Criterion Collection. We've got. I think this is a great set of films coming out next month. Starting out with Eraserhead, David Lynch's, I think one of his masterpieces. Yeah. Then we've got Roman Polanski's Macbeth, Jack Clayton's The Innocents, Serge Bourguignon's Sunday and Cybele, and Ali, Fear Eats the Soul by Rainer Werner Fassbinder.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. I'm really excited to watch a bunch of those.
It's a great lineup. I mean, I've actually seen 3 of them. Eraserhead, which is just incredible, and The Innocents, which I just watched earlier this year, and that's a really well done horror movie. I remember I was surprised that for its age, considering it was 1961, that it was the way the scare scenes in it were just so well done, and I was surprised considering the age of the film. But maybe because I'm only used to seeing more trashy horror films in the time period. But and I mean, Ali Furious of Soul, that's the only Fassbinder I've seen, but I wasn't a particularly big fan of it. But it's not a bad film by any means. It didn't really leave much of an impression on me. But yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic month. I still have to see Macbeth and the Sundays in Cybele.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to The Innocents, and of course, Eraserhead. Lynch is probably my favorite filmmaker of all time. I mean, I just love the guy in every way. Even his off camera, outside of the industry stuff is just so fun to me and so silly. I just can't get enough of him. So coming out of that, let's talk about what we've bought recently, you and I. Personally, what have you picked up from the Criterion Collection? I know recently we had a Barnes & Noble sale. When they're famous, one of my favorite times of the year, when they have their 50% off Barnes & Noble sales.
Well, I was very lucky to have my significant other gift me Criterions for the sale. I really wanted The Long Day Closes by Terence Davies, because I also saw that earlier this year, and it blew me away. It's the best movie I've seen in ages, but I kind of worship Terence Davies. So I got that as a gift, but I also got a gift of a film I haven't seen, because he's forcing me to watch it, which is Fanny and Alexander.
Nice. Because
I have not seen that one yet.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched the TV version?
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I'm not even gonna. I always would prefer to watch the longer version. Same with scenes of marriage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, those are the recent ones. I was going to buy the Tati set, but we'll get into that after you tell me.
Yeah, you told me the story about you trying to buy a Tati set, the Jacques Tati's box set, which is I also want, but I actually. Oh gosh, I forgot to get it, but I forgot to grab it. But I bought the Jacques Demy box set, which is probably one of the favorite things I've ever purchased from Criterion. Of course, the French director who directed the incredible musical The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is his most famous work. That movie's just a knockout. Saw it for the first time, buying the box set, and yeah, it's like it kind of leaped ahead, like a lot of Criterions do, to the front of my list of some of my most treasured films I've ever seen. I can't wait to watch it again. And then The Young Girls of Rochefort. Both of those. Another musical by Demy that's just really great. A little less sad musical take on film by him, and both starring what's her name?
Deneuve?
Catherine Deneuve.
No.
And God, I loved that purchase. I had so much fun with those films. Can't wait to explore the rest of them. There's four more films there I haven't taken a look at yet. I've got some here that I'd like to share with you all. It's like a book club. Yeah, it's book club, Criterion Club. This is working out, right, CJ?
Yeah, such a spontaneously generated discussion that you're like, oh, I have all these Criterions beside me.
Look what I found.
Yes.
Look what I found, everybody. Here's a recent purchase I got, which I really enjoyed. I'd seen the film before I purchased it, but I've got Picnic at Hanging Rock.
That comes with the novel, doesn't it?
Huh?
That comes with the novel, doesn't it?
It comes with the novel?
Because it's way too thick for...
it comes with the novel here. Really nice packaging. The film, of course, is just one of my favorite mysteries of all films. Kind of in the same vein as Love and Tour, where you don't really... Not everything gets put together for you. I love that ambiguity. And then also I picked up... Little Von Trier here, Breaking the Waves. One, from I believe the early '90s. Let me see.
It's 96, 97.
Yeah, 1996. You're right. Amazing. This one I also saw for the first time upon buying this. Stellan Skarsgård is in it, and Emily Watson, of course, putting on an amazing performance. This is one of my favorite Von Trier films, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like it. It's probably one of his more accessible ones, I think.
I just laugh because it's like, I mean, it's such a horrible, it's such a good viewing experience, but it's such a hard one. It's like
it's very difficult.
Like, yeah, it shows what kind of filmmaker Von Trier is when that's like his most accessible. Then you're
yeah. I mean, he's got his own voice. That's for sure.
Yeah,
by Von Trier standards, it's accessible.
Yeah, the nearly 3-hour like Golden Heart.
Yeah,
just someone slog through shit for 3 hours.
But Emily Watson just
like that's
blows you away with this. And this one, I have a third one to share with you. I did not recently purchase this, but I don't know if this happens for you, CJ, as a Criterion lover and buyer. But sometimes I buy Criterions that I know I need to have, and I forget I bought them. So time will go on, and I'll forget I bought them, and I'll look at my shelf and I'll go, "Oh shit, I bought that a while ago, and I still haven't watched it." I'd seen this film before I purchased this, but Robert Bresson's A Man Escaped.
Oh, nice.
I was thinking one day, I love this movie. It's probably one of my favorite Bressons, and I should buy it. I bought it, and then I forgot I had bought it. Then I thought again, I should buy A Man Escaped. And then I looked at my shelf, and I said, "Oh, I did buy A Man Escaped." So I still need to watch it. This is one of my... God, I say this about every fucking Criterion I buy, but I really kind of relish in watching this. It's one of the most rewatchable movies that I own, I'd say.
Really? Okay.
I really love it.
Let's balance it out. Name a Criterion you hate.
Like one that I regret purchasing?
Yeah, or just one where it's like a movie you've already seen, and you're like, I hate that movie, I'll never buy it on Criterion.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean...
You're that loving of Criterion?
No, I just can't think of... There's plenty. I mean, I actually regret buying... I recently bought Like Someone in Love, the Abbas Kiarostami movie from last year, and the transfer didn't look that great, and also it comes with a 45-minute documentary, and that's it. And there's no other there's extras.
I'm surprised that the transfer doesn't look good, considering it's just a straight digital feature. Right?
I know maybe my taste is just just bad, or I just was expecting something else, but it looked a little it was not the experience I remember watching it in the theater.
But do you still love... Because I remember you loved the movie. Do you still like it?
I love that movie.
Well, yes. I'm talking like a movie that you thought was bad.
Okay, so a movie I don't like.
I wasn't talking like technicals.
Okay. I don't know. Do you have any? You talk about some, and then I'll mention some.
La Ventura. Oh God, no. There are a lot of Criterions that I really didn't like over the years, but yeah, no, I guess I'm like you. I bring this up, and yet even I can't even remember a freaking Criterion that I didn't really care for. But checking the site. But yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely plenty. I mean, that's one of the better things about the lineup. Actually, you know what? I'll even be a little more controversial. George Washington.
Oh, what's his face?
David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green.
Never been a big fan of his movies though. But
he's all over the place, that guy.
Yeah, he has a new movie coming out now with Pacino in it, right? So that's his new thing. He's got Cage, Pacino. He's doing like his own weird Expendables type thing with old actors that are disgraced, bringing them back.
Oh God, disgrace.
Okay, well, yeah, no, okay, yeah. Cage and Pacino are pretty. They've kind of bury themselves with crappy movies.
A little bit.
Yeah, no. But you can't think.
It's funny about Nicolas Cage is like he's clearly not been acting for a long time. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't really been here for a while. But God help me, but I still find him an interesting actor. Like when he's on screen, you just look at him and you're wondering what the fuck he's gonna do. You just never know. So it's at least it's not quality work ever anymore, but at least it's it's like a car wreck type thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's and when he's on, like he's an incredible actor when he actually gives a shit. But even when he doesn't give a shit, it's still fun. I mean, you can't not laugh at like The Wicker Man or Face Off, for God's sake. But
gosh, this is killing me trying to think of
you still can't think of one.
Movies that I hate because I never pay attention. Like
Tiny Furniture. People usually go to that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tiny Furniture yet.
Or you could just go easy and say Armageddon or
that's a cop out though.
I know it is a cop out, sure. I'm sure there's some.
We'll come back to that in the next edition of Criterion Club if there is one. if this isn't just dead in the water. I'm eating almonds right now. Oh, I just dropped an almond. I caught it.
Blooper.
So
we'll cut that in
so
post.
Tell your Tati story. So CJ,
oh yeah,
you were wanting to buy the Jacques Tati box set, which came out.
It's coming out in October.
Or coming out soon.
Yes, because as you know, we both agree that Tati is probably one of the best filmmakers ever, or at least to me. I think it's how more eventful that is. But no, I'm buying it on Amazon, and the price went down to like $75, $76, which I think is a really good deal. I think the regular prices are like $130. So I see it, and it's like, okay, I'll buy it. But by the time I actually get to it, it went up to like $100. I don't know why Amazon does that. They have like a flash window of like an hour where the price is so low, and then it suddenly blasts up again. But it was a very frustrating feeling because I would have got it then, but I think I'm just going to wait till November for the next Barnes & Noble sale, right?
Yeah, I think that's... it's funny because Criterion lovers, as we call ourselves, they're people who kind of, enjoy the collection. Almost all of us wait until there's a sale or, kind of a discount on Amazon, like you said, or, the Barnes & Noble sale or the flash sales on the website. None of us, if we really loved Criterion so much, we'd probably pay full price for these movies, but I don't think anyone does. Like, I think even the people who are just in love with this stuff still wait for the sales.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm in Canada, and like, you got, like, we don't, technically Criterion doesn't come to Canada. It's an American company, right? So we have to import them. So it's like, I have to do the sales because actually, until very recently, Criterions were like $40 at least. There are stores I go to, and it's like $65 for a Criterion DVD, and I'm not even joking you. Wow. That's how like screwed up it is with the price in Canada. So, like Amazon is our only refuge, and then Barnes & Noble when they had the sale.
Oh man, I think it's just kind of, they're pricey and times are tough, So I think everybody. Just it's smart to wait for the sales, and I think I too will probably wait till November to pick up that Tati box set. I love Jacques Tati. Playtime is probably one of my top 10 favorite films ever.
Yeah, I agree. It is probably one of my favorites all time. I told you before that like it's one of those movies that it's like if I ever think back to a really highly influential or formative experience watching a movie, like that's one of them right up there. Because it's kind of mind-blowing what he pulls off in it. Yeah,
and a great Criterion disc as well. Lots of good stuff on there, including a little mini documentary about covering Tativille, the fake city that he built specifically for the film and that kind of drove him into bankruptcy, him and his family.
Yep, and then, like, I haven't seen all of his films, so I'm really excited to get the set because I can finally finish, watching, like, Trafic and... and Jour de Fête, I think, was the other one. And, I can't remember them off the top of my head. But, yeah, I definitely want to finish up with those because I've seen, Monsieur Hulot, Holiday, and Mon Oncle.
Mon Oncle's maybe... It's actually... Mon Oncle runs pretty close with Playtime for me. I love that. Sometimes I prefer Mon Oncle, actually. Like, it depends on my mood. Because Mon Oncle's, it's like a warmer film. It's more intimate than Playtime.
That's true, yeah.
So it depends on my mood. Like because Playtime is just a cold film. That's the point. It's a commentary on modernity, and as is Mon Oncle. But I think there's kind of it's more fun, at least initially than Playtime. So I go back and forth.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I actually this might be a little controversial, but I think I would prefer. Me personally, I have a preference for Monsieur Lo's Holiday over Mon Oncle myself.
Not
I think
it's great.
But yeah, it was great. But I mean, like, you know, and people refer to Mon Oncle as the better one. But I think it's because I find Monsieur Lo's Holiday just funnier, just a lot funnier to me. But they're both hilarious films. So
yes, we look forward to picking up. We look forward to picking up that Tati box set, as should you guys. If you haven't seen any Tati films, please go. Not even pick this up, but pick up Playtime at least. Just go and buy Playtime.
It's out of print.
It's totally worth it.
It's out of print.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's out of print. I thought you knew that. That's the Playtime Blu-ray and DVD is out of print.
And I have one?
Yeah. I have The Third Man.
Holy shit. No!
Yes.
Yeah, Criterion is the coolest thing ever. Okay, so I gotta cut this shit off. I will leave you guys with a story. This to illustrate to you my love for Criterion. In November of 2012, I got married. I got married to my beautiful wife, Jessica, and for our honeymoon, we went to Hawaii. I still haven't left the country, but this is the longest trip I've ever taken. Right? I'm kind of like a hometown guy. I very rarely leave, so Hawaii is the longest trip I've ever taken. Went over there. I'm not an outdoorsy guy either, so it wasn't. I wasn't. To be honest, and I was honest with my wife. I said, I'm so looking forward to spending time with you for a week and being in this beautiful place. But to be honest, it's not my cup of tea in terms of vacations. I'd rather go to a city, you know, and I'll miss my movies and all this stuff. So we go to Hawaii. We're in Maui, and I started to get bored after like 2 or 3 days. Like, it's gorgeous. Like, it's a gorgeous place. I hope no Hawaiians watch this, but like, you know, like Hawaii is amazing. Maui is gorgeous, but I'm just the kind of guy I just get over it after looking at. Like, I can't stare at it for like. I need stimulation. I need mental stimulation. So I find on the drive to our hotel, the taxi driver drives past the Barnes and Noble. And I make a mental note, and I go, there's a Barnes & Noble, like, a couple miles away from my hotel. And long story short, after a day of shopping, I tell my wife, hey, let's go walk to that Barnes & Noble I saw off the freeway. Like, how could we miss it? It's off the freeway. We just walk over there, and, you know, I'll buy something. Find something over there to buy. I'm sure I'll find something. Yeah, I had an agenda. I knew what I wanted to buy. So we walk. We begin walking, and it ends up being a 2.5 mile, 2.5 mile trek in 100-degree humid weather. I take my wife, who cares nothing for Criterions or even film in general, let alone art house film. We dangerously cross a freeway after our 2-mile trek, get into the Barnes & Noble, and I go, oh, check it out, they're having a Criterion sale. We got married in November. So I buy Seven Samurai and something else, which I can't remember, but I was so happy. I'm embarrassed to say I was as happy as I had been in a couple days because I was so miserable in the heat. I was so happy to get my Criterions. We went back to our hotel room, and I just sat there in our hotel room staring at my Blu-rays as my wife stared at me angrily. So that's how much I love Criterion movies.
Sounds like a great honeymoon.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I was she chewed me out, and rightfully so. But otherwise we had a great time, and I really did have a lovely time spending with my wife and being alone and away from headaches.
At the end of the day, you just say that you walked over like 4 miles, dragging your poor new wife along to go buy some Criterions. Who else would you do that for?
Absolutely. She's the best. She's the best in the world, and for putting up with that. But yeah, we'll leave you guys with that. This has been Criterion Club, starring C.J. Prince and Bernard Boo. CJ, where can we find you on Twitter?
My Twitter handle is CJ_PRIN or CJ_Prin.
And my Twitter handle is BJ_Boo. Check out all our other stuff on the website, way2indie.com. We've got a lot of interviews, reviews, and news on there for you to dig into. We've also got our first episode of our podcast out right now, which you guys should totally check out and subscribe to on iTunes. And I've got my series, Secret Stash, in which I talk to filmmakers about their favorite underground kind of obscure films. And we've also got a staff feature about Robert Altman.
There you go.
That we just got up on the site that you should check out because he's having a career retrospective playing at Toronto International Film Festival coming up. Lots of stuff going on at Way Too Indie. Please, guys, come check us out. We love to have you. Chat with us on social media everywhere. Facebook. Thank you for enduring.
Yeah. Five releases, obviously more than 5 films, but so the first one we got is Monty Hellman's 2 westerns, The Shooting and Ride in the Whirlwind, and then Frank Capra's A Happened One Night, Michelangelo Antonioni's L'Avventura, a box set of Les Blanc films. I think there are about 14 films in there, and finally the one I think everyone's been clamoring for and begging Criterion to release for years, Sidney Pollack's Tootsie.
Yeah, this is a pretty good announcement, a group of titles, right? Aren't you excited for these?
It's pretty diverse. I think that you have, Tootsie's obviously the very mainstream appealing one, and same with It Happened One Night, that is the classic. Then you got L'Avventura for the art house, and Monty Hellman and Les Blanc kind of fit the more obscure, very art housey bills.
Yeah,
so I think
it's a good variety. L'Avventura is going to appease pretty much everybody because, you can't really say no to that film. It's just incredible. One of my favorites of all time. I think it's on a lot of other people's lists as well. And then Les Blanc.
That's a really interesting movie. I'll leave it at that. I mean, it has also, I'll say the digital cinematography on it, because he shot it with a DSLR camera, is really, really cool. But I have to watch the westerns, obviously, and I gotta watch Two Lane Blacktop.
Yeah, me too. These are actually, we were talking before we started recording that these are a few blind spots for us. With Capra's It Happened One Night being an embarrassing one for me. I don't know about you. And
at least you've seen Capra films.
Yeah, I've seen.
I shouldn't even admit that.
but it's we're young guys. We got plenty of time. And the Criterion Collection, of course, helps us out with these blind spots. Tootsie I saw when I was a kid, or when I was younger, maybe a teenager. So I can't really say too much about it. I fear that I would be insensitive or just kind of ignorant in my opinions about that film. But I remember mildly enjoying it. And then, that's it, right? Just the Hellman stuff and those 5.
Yeah, and then, I actually saw L'Avventura for the first time this year. I went to a 35mm.
We're just going to talk about the new releases coming up. Some of the Criterion releases we've picked up personally recently, and just, kind of shoot this shit about this stuff, because these are the best movies in the world. Why not talk about it? We're going to call this Criterion Club, right, CJ? Yeah. Criterion Club.
Exactly. It's as I said, it's a lonely 2-member club, but it is a club nonetheless.
Lonely 2-member club, but we're going to have a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys can become members too, and subscribe to Way Too Indie on YouTube and everything, and follow us, and maybe join in on the chat in the comments below, or on Twitter at Way Too Indie, and on Facebook. But now that we've got all that taken care of, we're just going to jump in here into the first edition of Criterion Club. This is the most casually put together piece we've ever done on Way Too Indie, probably. I literally just asked CJ about it hours ago. I don't even know if hours is correct. It might have been an hour and a half ago. But let's start by looking at the new releases that Criterion just announced for November coming up. You want to run through them, CJ?
Yeah, so I believe it's...
Hello, film lovers. Bernard Boo here from way2indie.com. I'm joined right now by another writer at way2indie.com, CJ Prince. Say hi, CJ.
Hello.
And, we were just chatting the other day. while we were preparing for our first episode of the Way Too Indie cast, which you can find now on the site, way2indie.com, and on iTunes. You should totally check that out. But beforehand, or maybe it was after the recording, CJ, we were talking about Criterion movies and how much we love them, and we thought, hey, Criterion just announced their November releases today. Why don't we chat about it here on Google Hangouts, because it's the easiest thing in the world, Google Hangouts. You can just record ourselves chatting about bullshit, I guess. But seriously, we love Criterion. Me and CJ are big geeks about this stuff, and we love movies here way too many, so we're just kind of like a local hero here in San Francisco, where I'm coming to you from. Les Blanc, I think my fondest memory of Les Blanc films is this movie, Werner Herzog Eats His Shoe, which is a short documentary chronicling how Werner Herzog made a bet with Errol Morris over whether Errol Morris would complete Gates of Heaven or not. So he didn't think he would. So when Errol Morris did complete Gates of Heaven, Werner Herzog was forced to eat his shoe, and he actually did it, I believe, here in Berkeley, in the Bay Area. So it's just a short film chronicling this really odd bet between these art house documentarians. It's really pretty hilarious. So I'm excited for that. And gosh, following up Two Lane Blacktop, we've got more Monty Hellman. That's exciting too.
Yeah, Criterion's they're a big champion of Monty Hellman. I've only seen one film of his, and it's actually, usually everyone's seen Two Lane Blacktop, but I saw Road to Nowhere, which came out a couple years ago. It was like his return to filmmaking, and I don't know, I mean, like, that's a really